Hello. Welcome to our Spring into Confidence series. I'm so excited to be bringing this live stream series to a live stream near you. Hey, so welcome. I know that ladies will be jumping on, and after I leave here, I'm going to head over to Instagram for my lovely ladies that are over there. We be getting it popping on Instagram. So if you don't already follow me at Unleash Fierce on Instagram, you need to get on there because our lives be popping on Instagram. I'm not even going to lie to you. So welcome. I know there are some new ladies who have joined the group. Hey, Julia, there are some new ladies who have joined the group. So if anybody is new to me, or if this is your first live that you've ever watched or video you've ever watched from me, I am Tara Pritchett, and I am a confidence coach for women. I absolutely love helping single professional women heal, evolve, and grow so that they can attract and that they can manifest the life and the love that they desire, but also that we deserve. So often as women, we don't think that we deserve to have something, or we don't think we're worthy of having something. And that kind of goes into our topic for today, which is all about releasing mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional weight that we carry, right? And I think that I am the perfect person to talk about this because I've spent a number of years releasing my own mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional weight. But obviously, I also have had the pleasure of helping other women do the same. And as a result, a lot of my clients have had the opportunity to now get married, right? Because they have, let go of old things that they've been carrying. They've been able to begin to flourish in their business and to get clients. They're reporting back to me that they're happier. One person is reporting back to me that they are super magnetic, and all these men are like, ooh, who's that? Right? So somebody else reported back to me, that they finally got that new job that they desired, right? Because they put the things into practice that I teach, but also that I live and that I use. So I am thrilled and excited to share those things here with you today as we talk about how to release the weights, right? So all of the weights, in my opinion, the physical, emotional, spiritual, the mental, they're all interconnected, right? So if one area is off, all your areas are off, right? So if you're overweight and you're not taking care of your physical, then I believe that is interfering, or your emotional is tied to that. Your spiritual is connected to that. And I can give you a quick example. I know for me, physical weight is something that I've struggled with a number of times. Hey, Kisha. I've struggled with it a number of times in my life, right? But it wasn't until I realized the connection between all four that I was able to actually take the weight off and maintain having the weight off. When I started incorporating also not just doing physical actions to release physical weight from my body, but I paired that up and I did spiritual work with it at the same time. I did mental work with it at the same time, right? And then also I had to figure out, how are my emotions tied to the physical weight that I keep putting on? How is my spirituality connected to that? Am I making food an idol and I'm putting it on a pedestal? And there's obviously some reason why I'm grabbing for these things all the time and almost feeling something, right, that I believe food could feel, that God could be feeling for me in another way, right? So that's what I mean by all of the weights that we carry, right? They're all interconnected together. And that's the first thing that you honestly need to know. That's not even my steps that I'm going to give you today. But I just wanted to give an example, right? So let's talk about first, why do we end up carrying the mental, the spiritual, the physical, and the emotional weights, right? We end up carrying them, right? Because it's almost like they become a part of us over time, right? If we don't tend to ourselves, if we don't get counseling for certain situations, if we don't work to heal, evolve, or grow certain spaces and places that may not be the most pleasant or the most positive experiences that we have, we end up packing those things on, right? That's how we end up becoming, right, what we call a bag lady, right? And you're carrying your bags everywhere that you go, right? And it's almost like it's weighing you down, right? And if you went through the Spring Clean Your Life Challenge, which we just wrapped up last week, you'll know the very first day of that challenge, we focused solely on how to uproot, right? We had a flower metaphor going for us during that challenge into this springtime and the spring into your confidence, but it was all about uprooting old beliefs. And I even told the ladies who participated, think about your beliefs as little seeds that you're planting in here. right? And you're watering them and you're nurturing them either with negativity or with positivity, whether it's coming from you or whether it's coming from outside forces, right? And each time something is watering it, whether again it's good or it's bad, or it's being deprived of the sunlight it needs, and I'm doing quote unquote because I'm saying it in a metaphorical way, each time, right, that is either building you up as a woman to be strong, to be fierce, to be confident or powerful, or it's going to be tearing you down. So if you're constantly depriving yourself of saying loving and affirming and positive things, or even hearing that from other people, then obviously where do you think where you're going to end up? You're going to end up carrying a bunch of, physical weight you don't want. You're going to end up carrying a bunch of emotional weight that you don't want. And here's the bad part about that all of the weight that you carry, the spiritual weight, right? So all the issues, or, you could be impatient with God. You could be mad at God because you wanted something, you didn't get it. You wanted that man, you ain't get it. You wanted that baby, and then, something happened. So that could be your spiritual weight. It could be the physical, packed on a couple pounds over the years. And then that's weighing you down, like literally weighing you down. Because now when you go up them steps, you'd be like, oh, girl, I'm tired, right? You can start to feel that you're carrying the weight. And then you have the emotional and you have the mental weight, right? And here's the issue with carrying too many bags and carrying too much weight. Because I believe, right, and what I teach my clients is that everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything has a vibe to it. So imagine a woman who's carrying all that ish all over her. And I do cuss, just so you know, if this is your first time. That's just me. But if you're carrying all of this ish, right, what kind of vibe are you sending out there? To others, to men, if you want to attract a certain man, to future employers, if you want a new job, what vibe are you sending out there based on all those bags that you've been carrying for years and years and years, right? Because the beliefs that you have, right, and the weight that you carry, they all funnel into the actions and the behaviors that you have, right? That's how come you can leave one relationship and move to another relationship and the same shit will be popping off. And you're like, damn, I thought that I left this person, right? And then you start to notice you have a pattern going on, right? In terms of how you interact with men, or in terms of whenever your one girlfriend says a certain thing, you always get angry and you always get triggered. That means that there is some type of emotional, mental or spiritual weight that you're carrying that you haven't let go of, that you haven't healed, that you haven't evolved, and that you haven't grown, right? Especially when you notice you have patterns in your life, right? And I speak about this a lot in a number of different videos and a number of different lives. And I just had a talk with my student about this the other day because she was feeling a little depressed and a little down, but it always happens at the same time every single year. So honestly, a lot of what I'm going to share with you today is really what I shared with her just off the cuff, off the top of my head. And she was like, you're right. Right? Because if it's a pattern and it's showing up over and over again, that means God's trying to get your attention. That means you need to get your own attention. That means if we talk about that flower metaphor, you need to tend to your own garden. You need to take care of yourself. If you find yourself putting that weight on, if you find that emotionally you're weighed down, you're drained, or you're starting to feel depressed, you're starting to feel anxious, you're starting to feel ashamed, you're starting to feel like you're obsessing over someone or something, then that means that it needs your attention. Right? And it's going to happen over and over again until you release the weight, until you unbind yourself to the beliefs that have connected you to being in a place where you even feel like you need to carry that weight. So it's time for you to unbind yourself. It's time for you to kind of unblock certain blessings, right? You're blocking certain blessings when you're carrying certain weight because it's nowhere for it to go. Because when it tries to come to you, it's like, skirt. It's a halt because it's like, where am I going to go? You don't have any space. You don't have any room, which means that if you want to release the weight, that means that there's a detoxing, there's a purifying, there's a cleansing, there's an elimination process. There's actually a death. There is a death that you have to go through. Ooh, let's get into, we almost at Easter, aren't we? Right? And just so you know, this series is kind of based off of, the resurrection and Easter time, right? Just because that for every next level of your life, and if you've been following me for the last couple of weeks or months, you know I share this all the time. And I've even modeled my program, Powerfully Positioned Women Academy, around that model, right? How, you know, Christ, he died, right? And then, you know, that was on the first day. Then we got that next day. And then on the third day, he rose, or he resurrected. The same is going to be true for you as a woman. The first day is kind of releasing, you know, the old weight that has to go, right? And I teach my clients that there's always going to be an elimination, a preparation, and a manifestation phase you have to go through in order to get the money you want, in order to get the man that you want, in order to step into the purpose and to build your business in the way you want to. There's something that's going to have to die, something you're going to have to give up. There's always going to be something that's going to cost you, right? And so often we're settling and we don't give ourselves permission to move forward because we don't want to go through elimination, because elimination is painful. Elimination hurts. Even thinking about, you know, Christ dying on the cross, that hurts, right? Even though there was a purpose for it, and he might not have known it in that moment, right? But there was a purpose, right? And the same is true for you. There's going to have to be an elimination. So even letting go of the physical weight might not always feel good, because you're going to be like, oh girl, I want that cookie. I was at the little farmer's market today and they had little cookies, and I was like, you know, my mom was like, oh, you know, do you want anything? And I was like, no, I'm good. But usually I'll be like, girl, let me try that chocolate chip real quick. But since we kind of reset during the Spring Clean Your Life Challenge, I know I lost 6 pounds and I've been doing my green smoothie. So I've already reset myself. So I'm like, no, that's not for me, right? But before going into that process, it took me a little second in order to get to the mindset, to the mental stage where I was going to actually fully commit and not just do it for one day or two days, but fully commit and play full out, so that I'm able to be so disciplined that I can walk through. And I walked through like several little bakeries over and over. They had all the little Easter stuff out. They had all the little cupcakes, all the stuff I like to eat everywhere, right? But if you discipline yourself enough, you can move through, right? That will come obviously in the preparation phase. If you do elimination, preparation, and manifestation, you'll be able to do that. But you got to get through the elimination part first. You're going to have to give up something. It's going to cost you something. But the look at me. The main part that we need to focus on is not what we're giving up, not what we're losing, but what are you going to gain as a result of releasing that mental weight, that emotional weight, that physical weight, the spiritual weight. What's going to happen when you unbind yourself and you untie yourself from the negative beliefs that you've been carrying? What is going to be the benefit of giving that up? Because here's the thing. Your entire life is like a story, right? It's a big old story, right? It's like if you read the Bible, it's what? It's all stories about people's lives. Yours is a story, or it's like a script, or it's like a movie. You have the power, right? And you co-create that, and you navigate that, and you move that as it aligns with God. And if you get off track, He'll make sure you get back on track. Right? So you have a story. There's a narrative that you tell yourself about yourself when nobody else is around. That's why it's a lot of people don't like being alone, right? Or not being maybe in a relationship, or they don't like sitting home. Because guess what? When you get quiet and you get to a place of solitude, right? And silence, and peace and quiet, that's when your thoughts get louder and you can hear everything, right, that you're saying to yourself. So what do you tell yourself about yourself when no one else is around? And how is that contributing to the weight that you're packing onto your body physically? How does that contribute to spiritual weight that you are carrying, the bags you're carrying? How does that connect to your emotional and your mental state based on what you are saying to yourself? And even think about the way that I talk to myself. Would I talk to my child in that same way? Right? Would I want somebody to talk to my child in the same way? Right? That's something that you have to consider as you continue on this journey, right? Again, elimination, preparation, and manifestation. And this video is really about the elimination phase of letting go, of something has to die off, right? So let's jump into what it is that the 3 steps that I have for you today that you can actually use and put into practice over the next couple of days or weeks so that you can unbind yourself and untie yourself from what it is that you have been carrying, right? So that you can get to a place where you can unleash your power. You can unleash your fears. You can unleash your confidence. You can unleash God, right? To make sure you and hubby are in alignment so y'all can meet on the physical plane. But again, a lot of times we blocking something, and we need to undo some things. And most importantly, a lot of the times we need to unlearn some things that we learned growing up, or that we made up a story about in our minds, right? That are guiding and directing what it is that we're still doing today based on something that happened 10 years ago. We're still operating in that same vibration that we ain't shifted in 10 years. So that we wonder why we stuck in the same patterns of picking up the cookies all the time, or attracting the same man all the time, or afraid to speak up and share even when you're at work and you are the main leader. One of my former clients was a doctor, and one of her struggles was being unable to, even though she's the lead, speak up to the nurses, to the staff, right? A lot of times we get to a space and a place we're able to get into certain positions, and we look the part. We're getting the degrees, and we look happy, and we look cute, and we look this and we look that on the outside. But there's some unlearning, some unbinding, some things inside that we need to undo and untie so that we can fully unleash our full power and show up in our fullness, and not just, look how we need to look, but also we're bringing the fullness of ourselves from the inside out. So let's get into the three that I want to share with you today. So the first one is one of my favorite ones. It's one I'm sure you've heard before, but we all need to be reminded of it all the time, because it's so easy for you not to think in the way that I'm going to talk about. But the first part is all about the perspective of how you look at the weight that you are carrying, right? And a lot of times I tell people when I talk to them via phone, or when I meet people, that you don't have a confidence problem or, a self-doubt problem. You have a perspective problem. So you don't have a confidence problem. You have a perspective problem. It's the way that you are looking at a situation. So often when we're carrying weight and we have a hard time letting it go, we oftentimes kind of beat ourselves up about it. And we oftentimes say, why is this happening to me? Hey, Juanita, right? We say, why is this happening to me? Lord, why did it have to be me? Why is it happening right now? Or I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me? And that's the wrong perspective to have. That's the wrong question to be asking yourself. That's the wrong question to be asking God, because that's not coming from an empowered state. That's not coming from a fierce, confident, and powerful woman who wants to move into her next level, who's ready to manifest something new, or, to get out of it what she needs to, right? So a confident and empowered woman will shift her perspective on something that negative that pops up, or on a certain emotional, physical, spiritual weight, even when it comes to the weight that you carry, right? So instead of asking, myself, like I said, when I gain weight, lost weight, gain weight, lost weight, like, why do you keep doing that? That's an important question to ask, and we'll get to that. But where I really got to change my mindset, where I really got to lose 60 pounds, again, for the second time, and keep it off, unlike the other times, was when I changed my perspective. And instead I focused on, God, what is it that you need me to learn from this? What is it that you need me to learn? What is it that I'm not getting? There's something that I'm not getting, and that's why I'm doing this over and over again. Where is it that you're trying to take me? What's next for me? Because clearly you have something that's next for me, but I'm missing that. So I need you to reveal that to me, right? So instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Why am I still carrying this physical weight? Or, why, do I always seem, let's go into the emotional realm. Why do I always seem to obsess, over a guy when I first meet him, right? And I get so hooked to him, right? That could be an example. Or, why do I always tend to beat myself up when I'm on Facebook and I see somebody else and they're shining in their business, but then I'm not? Why do I keep beating myself up? Instead, think about, what do I need to learn from this situation? So what did that other business owner who is constantly posting, but maybe I'm not, what can I learn from her or him? Or what am I learning about myself, right? You come to that realization that, wait, instead of me being all upset because they're doing their thing, I recognize, right? This is how you begin to drop the weight, right? I recognize that perhaps I'm afraid to show up in the way that I need to show up. And instead of me being upset about that person and wondering why things aren't happening for me, perhaps, hey, I could maybe take notes from that other person or check that other person out and see what they're doing. But perhaps that there's some inner work that I need to do around this fear that's preventing me from showing up in the way I need to show up, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I know one of my clients that I'm working with now, she's going through my Magnetic with Men boot camp. She emailed me the other day, and she's kind of had a similar experience, right, in terms of her emotions. And she had this revelation, right? I got her into fasting, and she's doing the work. But she was like, wait, as I went through this, I realized, instead of me focusing on why this has happened to me over and over again with men, I realized, I'm not going to, put her business out there, but she basically came to a revelation that there's more that she needs to work on that she didn't realize, right? She was kind of putting it on others, or like, oh, I just ended up here and I don't know how, but didn't realize, the role she's playing in the entire situation and what she can learn from it. And as she begins and continues the process of healing, evolving, and growing, right, it's giving her an opportunity to drop, especially for her, the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional weight she's been carrying for years and years and years. That even her parents are trickling down to her, right? And we even talked about, and we even pinpointed exactly how she's like her mom, and how her child's father is just like her father, right? We even looked at the pattern and how it's trickling down, right? And she made this fierce commitment that I'm going to break that. Like, this shit stops right now. It's going to stop with me. And she was like, whatever I need to unlearn, whatever I need to unbind, whatever we got to do, we got to clear this out, because I'm not going to keep passing that down to my kids, and I'm not going to keep struggling carrying this weight that was never meant for me to carry, right? That's a whole different conversation. Now, some of the weights that we do carry and we take on were never even meant for us to carry, but we take them on anyway, right? But that's a whole different video, right? Hey, okay, it says my connection is weak, so let me know if y'all can still hear me. I didn't realize my connection was that weak because I do all my videos here. So if y'all can still hear me, let me know, or can you see me? Let me know. So I'm gonna continue because I have to get over to Instagram, and I didn't realize we were at that time. So as I was saying before this pause on my end, I'm not sure how it's looking on your end. It might not have, I don't know. But as you continue on this journey of unblocking and unlearning and kind of letting things go, like I said, we got to switch perspective. So get away from why is this happening and switch into what do I need to learn from this. The second thing that you need to do as you continue to release the weights and eliminate, purify, detox, release, cleanse, let it go, right, is, you can't change the fruit of anything unless you get to the root of a thing. Cannot change the fruit of anything unless you get to the root of a thing. So if there is a certain weight or certain problem or issue or emotion that is bothering you, hey Jackie, hey, oh, see, now the comments are flowing in. They weren't flowing in before, unless y'all just did them now. I don't know. But anyway, dang, I just lost my thought because I said hi. I'm so crazy. Again, you cannot change the fruit of something unless you get to the root of something. So when you're carrying a certain weight, like that extra baggage, that extra weight loss, or something in your business, or something with your children, or something with your family, I need you to get to the root of that thing. Where did it come from? Where did it start? If you're able to go back to it, right, to the start of something, it's easier for you to release and unbind yourself from a certain thing that is bothering you or weighing you down. If you can go back to, when is the first time I remember feeling this? When is the first time I remember experiencing this? Or if there's a certain experience, especially if it's negative, you need to go back and you need to learn how to sit in the pain of that experience, or sit in the discomfort, sit in the shame, right? Because in order for pain, or in order for the weight to go away from you, you have to actually feel into it, right? So God, he's going to first reveal what you need to heal, and then you're going to have to deal with it. So going back to that and actually sitting in the pain, and even if you got to cry, you got to scream, you got to write it out, feel it. That's not saying it's always going to feel good. That's why I said if you need to punch a pillow, do what you need to. Let the tears out. I was talking to somebody a month or two ago, and they had a very traumatic experience. But they had told me they had never cried about it. They had never cried. And crying, water, is purifying and it's cleansing. That's how you release weight. And she said, I just realized I've never cried about the situation. And it was terrible what happened, right? So that's one thing I encouraged her to do, right? It go back to the root of it and feel it and release it, because when you feel it and you release it, that means you have taken ownership of it. So no one else can hang it over your head. You're not going to sit in the shame anymore. You're not going to blame yourself anymore. You know, you're not going to put yourself in a negative space or place, because you've actually sat in it and you felt it. And now you can take ownership, because yes, this did happen to me, but now I'm thriving. And this is how, or yes, this did happen to me. Let me teach you how you can overcome it and move forward, right? That's how you release the dead weight. And that's how you also know you've healed something, when you're in a space and place where you're comfortable enough to speak about it and then help someone else through the same process, right? And then let's move into our last one, which is simply, in order for you to be at peace with yourself, right? Well, that's action number 3, is being at peace with yourself. And in order for you to ever be at peace with yourself, knowing that you have released the weights that you have been carrying, is that you simply have to surrender every block, every barrier, hey Erica, that weighs you down. And you say, God, I surrender every barrier, every block, anything that's weighing me down, any bags that I'm carrying, especially if the bag is not really mine. Because a lot of us, we make agreements in the spiritual realm sometimes. We have soul ties a lot of the times. We have strongholds a number of times. We make agreements with our parents. Like, you know, you might not even realize that a long time ago you made this agreement that you're never ever going to move away. You're always going to be close. But you intuitively feel maybe now there's something for you out in Dallas, Texas. But you unconsciously made that agreement so long ago. Right? It's usually the little things. And then we wonder why we're not at peace with ourselves. We wonder why we're not happy, or why we feel like we're stuck, or we feel like we're settling, or like we can't move forward. But you cannot move forward if you have those little old agreements, if you have strongholds, if you have soul ties and those things that are kind of binding you up and keeping you stuck and attached. That's how come we feel weighed down. That's how come we feel like we have bags on us. So we have to learn to be at peace with ourselves by saying, God, I surrender all of the bags, anything that's binding me up, anything I don't even know about, anything anybody else tried to put on me, any soul ties, any strongholds, I let that shit go. Don't say that when you pray to God though, but say, I let that go. I release that. Right? That's how you begin to let go of the weight. So again, just a quick recap before I head over to Instagram. So the first thing is changing your perspective. Not why is this happening to me? Why does this keep happening to me? But it's like, God, what is it that I need to learn? What's next for me? Obviously, you positioned me for something popping. If you put me in this space, in this place over and over again, it's something I'm not getting. It's something I need to learn. Right? Second thing, right, is getting to the root of why do you keep putting on the weight? Why do you keep attracting, that man? Get to the root of it. Go back to when you first remember that particular behavior, right? And like I said, sit in the pain, or, if you need to, this will be an excellent time to do some type of forgiveness if you took on a certain belief. So maybe, if you go back to, you think that all men lie and all men cheat, and you go back, like, when did that first happen? And you remember back in 1973, you was with Clyde Taylor. I just made that all up. And he was so cute and you liked him, and then he cheated. And then you took on that belief, like the little seed. You took it on. And then unconsciously, you made an agreement and something in here that said that all men cheat. And then after that, it's just like, if you really think about it, then you was with Chuck and he was cheating. Then you was with Tyler, then he was doing, like, everybody has that pattern, right? Again, you don't always realize it. That's why it's so important to learn how to release and let go of the weight and uproot those old beliefs. But again, you cannot change the fruit in who you are now and all your glory, unless you go back, and get to the root of it. Like I said, sit in that pain, or say, you know what? I forgive myself for thinking that, right? When you know better, you can do better. And that's the way that, again, that goes back to perspective. When I know better, I can do better. And I didn't know what I didn't know at that time. And I forgive myself, and that's okay. And I can move forward knowing that's okay. I didn't know, when I was 15 and I slept with him, I was going to end up a teenage mom. I'm not saying me, I wasn't a teenage mom, but I'm sure that's for somebody that's out there. You might not have known that at the time, but you didn't know what you didn't know. And you have to learn how to forgive yourself and release that weight, because I know a number of women who were teenage moms, and I see them all the time, and they're ashamed, or they don't want to bring up, their kid, because people can easily sit and calculate up the age in their head really quick, and people think they're being judged. But you have to learn, you have to learn, again, like I said, to sit in that, to own that, to forgive that, to release that, to let that shit go. And once you release it, you sit in it, you own it, can't nobody hang that over your head, because you're like, okay, I was a teenage mom, and what? And what are you going to do? Okay, I had a divorce once. Okay, that was my story. And okay, next. But right now, what I'm doing, I'm preparing for what God has next for me. So that was a part of my journey, and I learned from it. Going back to number one, it's not, oh, why did that divorce have to happen to me? No, what did I need to learn from that experience? What did I learn from being in that marriage that's going to help me with my next marriage, or that's going to help me help my friends have better marriages? That's the direction that we need to move in. And then last but not least, being at peace with yourself, right? And a peaceful woman is a confident woman. She's a radiant woman. You can tell when a woman is not at rest with herself, and she's carrying a lot of weight, because guess what? We are really good at prettying it up and putting our makeup on, our lashes, our hair. We are so good at that. Putting a mask on and going out and being a superwoman and all that, when we are secretly upset, we are secretly in pain, we're secretly carrying some shit that we've been carrying year after year after year, right? We're really good at doctoring it up. We are, but we got to learn how to true peace is that inner peace, right? It's also that peace that comes with knowing God. And you might have saw the quote I posted earlier, which my coach taught me. And I said, girl, you good. That's how I work with you, right? And just like my coach Shannon told me, right? A woman that's, a woman can be, a confident woman is a woman that's at peace with herself, but a powerful woman is a woman that's at peace with God, and she's content with whatever season she's in. She's able to ask, not say, God, why is this happening to me? But what do I need to learn? And she's able to sit in it and move forward in that fullness, right? And that's a beautiful thing. And like I said, that last one is all about surrendering, right? Every block or barrier that weighs you down. Right? So again, I hope that you have enjoyed the 3 items that I've just shared with you of how you can release the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual weight. If you're just hopping on, you want to go back and catch the replay. Hopefully it's popping, because it said the connection was very weak. So just so you know, I don't know why you showed up for this series. Perhaps there was one of the titles that caught your attention, which are all based on things that my clients or things that they've struggled with. If they've struggled, I'm assuming you probably have too. I hope that you're going to join me for the next 2 days as we continue with this series. But I wanted to remind you and to invite you, if you haven't already, to please check out Powerfully Positioned Woman Academy at bit.ly/Power Academy. I'm looking for at least 2 to 3 additional women to join us in the academy for 8 weeks of doing this type of work that I'm talking about, where you're uprooting the old beliefs, right? And I'm teaching you the posture principles of a powerful woman. And I'm teaching you the difference between you just being, pretty versus you being beautiful and you being radiant, right? There are some things you got to cultivate to get at that level where you have this glow, right? You see my glow, right? Where you get this glow, right? That ain't no outside. That's that inside. Because there was a time when I ain't have no damn glow. No glow at all. Go look at my before and afters. I was looking crazy. Because my inner wasn't together, and I had to learn how to radiate, how to be magnetic, how to be powerful, how to let the weight go, how to lose the weight so that I can, do my thing with my body, how to love myself, how to love my body, how to know that I'm worthy, and I'm worthy of being with any man that I want to be with, instead of only kind of shrinking and settling for this particular path, right? And that's the things that I begin to uncover in Powerfully Positioned Woman Academy, right? So it's, again, like I said, it's 8 weeks. There are video lessons that are in there. There's over 300 hours of me doing video, of worksheets, of techniques that you have to do to go through elimination, preparation, and manifestation. I teach you manifestation techniques and tools that you can use to manifest whatever you want. You want a speaking engagement? Let me help you get that. You want a man? Let me help you get there. You need a new job like my client Jenny? Let me help you. Let me help you do that. You need new clients in your business? Let me help you do that, right? And again, it's the inner stuff. It's not all the ish we be doing outside of here. If you get this inside together, I promise you, you will manifest so many opportunities and relationships, and just cultivate yourself in such a beautiful way. And in the academy, we cover your purpose, we cover finances, we cover relationships, we cover your relationship with God, and most importantly, your relationship with yourself, and cultivating that self so that you're a powerful woman when you walk through the door, or when you're showing up online, or when you're showing up in your business, or when you're showing up in your relationship. And I also help you uncover and unveil and unbind yourself from a bunch of shit you've been carrying for years and years and years, so you can unleash that fierce power. So go to bit.ly/power academy to sign up. It is currently at a discounted rate through April 1st, just so you know. And there are a number of bonuses, especially Magnetic Women Bootcamp is one of the bonuses, which is valued at $300. You get my book and all of its bonuses as well. You get my powerful woman meditation. Only women who are in the program have that. That's kind of like that's my secret weapon, right? And if you join by April 1st, I will make a custom one for you. I just made a custom one for one of my other clients because she wanted to be more in her feminine energy. I made a custom, and this is a meditation affirmation audio that you put on repeat. I give you the time schedule to do it, and you will start to see them results, honey, if you're listening to it. I did one on breaking soul ties recently for a client. I did one on breaking family patterns. Now that's my favorite one, girl. I'll be listening to that for myself, even though I made it for my client. That's a good one. But I make ones that are custom for what do you want? Do you want a dream home? Let me make you a little custom thing. Because when you got to speak what you seek until you see it. And that's what I do when I create that custom audio. I'll get the soothing, high vibrational sounds in the background. And then based on what we discuss, because there's also a free 30-minute call, you know, that is a part of the program, especially before, if you're like, girl, I don't really know, call me. And you can go to bit.ly/chat to sign up for a free 30-minute powerfully positioned woman call if you want to learn more about the program, if you want to just talk with me and see if it's a good fit. Or some women have been signing up for calls and they're like, I'm not really sure if I need the academy yet, or if there's something else that you offer. And I do offer a number of different programs.